Okay, so I want you to imagine two people. Just to hold these two very different scenarios in your mind for a second.
Okay, I'm with you.
So, person A earns what, most people would consider a pretty modest living, let's say $50,000 a year.
Right. Totally normal, average salary.
Exactly. And then you have person B who brings in a massive salary. We are talking $500,000 every single year.
Oh, wow. Okay, so a huge gap there.
Huge gap. But here's the thing. Fast forward exactly 10 years into the future, person A, the one making 50 grand, is entirely financially free.
Really?
Yeah. They wake up when they choose to, their time is completely their own, and they have absolute peace of mind.
That sounds amazing. And person B.
Person B, the high earner bringing in $500,000 a year, is drowning in debt. They are operating under this constant crushing stress and quietly panicking about whether they can cover their lifestyle if they miss, like even a single paycheck.
Man, that is just, it breaks our fundamental understanding of how money is supposed to work, doesn't it?
It really does. How is that even mathematically possible?
Well, I mean, we are so conditioned to view income as this direct, unassailable scoreboard for financial success. Like, we assume that a higher number on a W-2 just automatically translates to a higher net worth.
Right, because the math seems obvious. More money in, more wealth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the math behind that scenario works out perfectly once you stop looking at the numbers and, start actually looking at the human behavior driving those numbers.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because our mission for today's deep dive is to shatter the single biggest money mistake almost everyone makes.
And it is a huge one.
It is. It's this deeply ingrained illusion that more income automatically creates more wealth. We're pulling from the concepts in Morgan Housel's brilliant book, The Psychology of Money, to figure out why really smart people make terrible financial decisions.
Yeah, and this applies to everyone.
Completely. So, listener, whether you are actively trying to rework your own budget right now, or you're just, insanely curious about why human beings behave the way we do, this exploration is going to completely flip how you look at your next paycheck.
I love that.
So let's look at why our $500,000 earner ended up totally trapped.
So we have to start with the psychological friction of the word later.
Later.
Yeah, most of us operate under this really flawed premise that financial stress is purely a symptom of not earning enough money.
Right. Like, if I just had a bit more, everything would be fine.
Exactly. We tell ourselves, I'll start saving when I get that promotion, or I'll finally invest when I hit a certain tax bracket. We treat our current financial vulnerability as a temporary condition.
A condition that a future raise will just, effortlessly cure.
Right. We view later as this magical destination where discipline is suddenly going to be easy.
But then the promotion happens, the income goes up, and the savings rate usually stays right at zero.
Yep. Because the human brain is wired to prioritize immediate adaptation over distant future planning. It's actually a cognitive bias.
What's it called?
It's known as delay discounting.
Right.
We value immediate rewards so much higher than future security. So when your income rises, this mechanism called lifestyle inflation kicks right in.
Right. So the apartment is swapped for a larger house in a better zip code.
Exactly. The reliable sedan is traded in for a luxury lease. And before you know it, those new, really expensive obligations quickly become your new baseline for normal.
See, I want to push back on that framing just a little bit.
Okay, go for it.
Calling lifestyle inflation a mistake feels, I don't know, a little dismissive of human nature. Like, you work hard to earn more money, right?
Sure.
So the biological drive to secure a better environment, better food, better resources for yourself and your family, that's completely natural.
Oh, absolutely.
It's kind of like being on a treadmill where the belt speeds up every time you start running faster. You're expending way more energy, but staying in the exact same place financially. Is it really a failure of discipline, or just an evolutionary imperative to upgrade your surroundings when you finally have the means?
No, I mean, you're right. It is absolutely an evolutionary imperative.
Yeah.
Historically, displaying control over better resources signaled competence. It secured your standing within the tribe, which literally kept you alive.
Right. So we're hardwired for it.
We are. The danger today isn't the impulse itself. The danger is how the structural mechanics of modern financial upgrades work against us.
How so?
Well, think of increasing your income like scuba diving.
Just scuba diving, okay.
Yeah. The deeper you go, like the higher your salary climbs, the higher the pressure of the surrounding water becomes.
Okay, that makes sense.
And if your lifestyle expands, to match that high pressure, meaning you take on massive mortgages, private school tuitions, luxury car payments. Your internal financial pressure equalizes with the deep water.
Wow. And if you ever want to swim back to the surface, say, I don't know, you want to take a lower paying job that you actually enjoy, or you face a sudden medical issue.
You can't just swim up, you'll get the bends.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you are trapped at that depth because the structural costs of your life require that exact high-stress income just to keep from collapsing.
So as the book points out, your high salary becomes a prison instead of freedom.
Exactly. You are forced to keep swimming at the bottom of the ocean just to service the debt of the lifestyle you built.
That pressure metaphor completely explains why so many high earners feel like they're suffocating. We dive into the high pressure zone because we misunderstand the signals of success.
We do. We completely blur the lines between being rich and being wealthy.
Because they're not the same thing, are they?
Not at all. Distinguishing between those two concepts is really the absolute foundation of behavioral finance.
So what's the difference?
Rich is a measure of current income and highly visible spending. It's literally designed to be seen. It's the luxury car in the driveway, the tailored clothes, the flashy watch.
Right, the stuff you post on social media.
Exactly. But here's the catch. When you see someone driving a $100,000 car, the only factual data point you actually have about their financial situation is that they have $100,000 less than they did before they bought the car.
Or they took on a massive amount of debt to finance it.
Exactly. They're displaying their spending, not their wealth.
Okay, so if that's rich, what is wealthy?
Wealth, on the other hand, is what you don't see. It is inherently invisible.
Invisible.
Yes. Wealth is the income that has deliberately not been spent. It's the unpurchased cars, the unbought diamonds, the postponed upgrades.
It's the restraint.
Exactly. It's financial assets and investment portfolios, paid-off mortgages, cash reserves, just sitting quietly in accounts where nobody else can see them.
So rich buys attention in the present moment, but wealth buys freedom in the future.
That's the perfect way to summarize it.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Because society trains us to crave those visible markers of success.
Of course.
We want strangers at a stoplight to look at our car and assume we are successful. But the invisible markers, like the boring index funds quietly growing in the background, those are the only things that actually buy freedom.
Right.
So why? Why are we so desperate to buy the temporary attention of strangers at the cost of our own long-term freedom?
What's fascinating here is that it comes down to a profound evolutionary mismatch. Like we discussed earlier, signaling status used to be a survival mechanism.
Right, if you looked successful, the group protected you.
Exactly. But today, modern culture, and specifically the hyperconnectivity of the internet and social media, it hijacks that primal survival instinct and just weaponizes it against us.
Because we see it everywhere.
Everywhere. You aren't just comparing your cave to the cave next door anymore. You're subjected to this constant, algorithmically optimized stream of curated luxury from billionaires, influencers, and celebrities globally, 24/7.
The baseline for what looks successful has been artificially inflated to a level that is quite literally mathematically impossible for the average person to sustain.
And because of that, our environment has become openly hostile to invisible wealth. It makes it incredibly difficult for the average person to quietly build real wealth.
Because nobody's clapping for you when you transfer money to a savings account.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There is no biological or social reward for quiet discipline. You don't get a hit of dopamine or public praise for funding a retirement account.
Right. You can't wear your brokerage statement to a dinner party.
No, you
You
can't.
can't post a selfie with your emergency fund. The actions that actually secure your future are completely invisible to the tribe.
They really are. And to see how these unseen forces dictate the trajectory of our lives, the book introduces a scenario comparing two distinct approaches to money.
Right. To ground all this abstract psychology in reality.
Exactly. Let's look at the tale of Alex and Ben.
Listener, picture two friends. We have Alex, who earns a solid median salary, let's say $60,000 a year. Alex understands this visibility trap we've been talking about, and he consciously ignores the social pressure to perform success. He drives a reliable, older car. He actively avoids unnecessary high-interest consumer debt.
And more importantly, he automates his finances.
Yes, every single month before he even sees his paycheck, a portion of it is routed directly into a diversified investment account.
He removes the psychological friction of having to choose to save every month. He basically bypasses his own cognitive biases by automating his behavior. He's effectively hiding his own money from himself.
It's so smart. But contrast that with his friend Ben.
Okay, what about Ben?
So Ben lands a high-profile position making $200,000 a year.
Nice.
Yeah. But he acts on that biological impulse to display his new resources. He upgrades absolutely everything to luxury. He leases a high-end sports car, rents a luxury penthouse apartment, begins dining at five-star restaurants.
So he is living the visible dream.
Exactly. But fast forward 5 years.
What happened?
Alex, operating quietly on his modest salary, has built a formidable safety net. If his car breaks down or he needs, like, a medical procedure, it's just a minor administrative task. It's not a crisis. He has profound peace.
Right, because he has the invisible wealth.
Yes. But Ben, despite earning more than 3 times as much money, is practically vibrating with stress. His entire $200,000 income is pre-allocated before the month even begins, just to service the massive overhead of his visible lifestyle.
Wow. So Alex has peace and Ben has stress.
Yep.
And the core lesson here, what we have to emphasize, is that the determining factor in their respective outcomes wasn't financial literacy in the traditional sense.
It wasn't about who was smarter.
No, it wasn't their ability to perform complex calculus or a difference in their intelligence. And it wasn't luck. The divergence was entirely behavioral.
Wow.
Alex managed his ego, which allowed him to retain his money. Ben let his ego manage his spending, which resulted in his money slipping right through his fingers. Money, ultimately, is far less about math and far more about psychology.
It is genuinely wild to consider how our schools handle this topic, given that.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Right. We spend years in school learning the mechanical math of money. We take classes on interest rates. We learn the mathematical formula for compounding interest.
Which is important.
It is. We learn the math, but we completely ignore the psychology of money. We ignore greed, ego, comparison.
Because we teach personal finance as if it were a hard science, akin to physics. We assume that if you just memorize the rules and the formulas, you will automatically get the correct result.
But it's messy.
It is so messy, it's emotional, it's driven by deep-seated insecurities. The math of compounding interest is simple to understand on a chalkboard, but implementing that math consistently over 30 years.
Yeah.
That requires navigating a daily minefield of human impulses.
There is no standardized test on how to manage your own ego when your neighbor buys a new boat.
Exactly.
We learn the math, but the math is utterly useless if your behavior is out of control.
So, if psychology drives our behavior, how should the listener mentally frame their money on a daily basis?
Right. How do we hack our own brains here?
Well, the source material offers a really powerful concept. It suggests framing every single dollar you earn as having 2 potential jobs.
2 jobs for every dollar. Okay, break those down for me.
Job number 1 is to impress other people. Job number 2 is to build your future.
Impress others or build the future?
Exactly. The danger is that prioritizing the first job feels incredibly exciting today. Buying that designer jacket gives you a rush of dopamine and instant social validation.
Oh, absolutely.
But the second job, building your future, is what actually changes your life tomorrow.
So what does this all mean for the listener? I think it requires a total shift in how we visualize saving money.
How do you mean?
Well, instead of viewing saving money as this act where you are depriving yourself of a purchase, like, oh, I can't buy those concert tickets because I have to save, which feels like a loss, right?
Right, it feels like a punishment.
Exactly. Instead of that, you should view it as actively buying a premium product. And that product is called future choices.
I love that. Buying future choices is the perfect way to contextualize it.
Because it changes it from passive denial to an active purchase.
Yes. When you pull directly from the source material and analyze the wealthiest individuals, the ones who often don't even look wealthy, they do not view their unspent money as a sacrifice. They view it as a stockpile of agency.
A stockpile of agency. That's powerful.
It's true. They recognize that the money they deliberately don't spend is the exact money that gives them choices later.
Right. It buys you the choice to quit a toxic job without panicking about rent.
Exactly. It buys you the choice to spend uninterrupted time with your family.
The choice to live life entirely on your own terms.
That level of autonomy is the ultimate utility of money.
Which brings us to the final paradigm shift of this whole deep dive, the ultimate takeaway.
Hear it.
The next time you find yourself sitting at your kitchen table, stressing about your finances, stop asking the standard default question, which is usually, how can I make more money?
Right, because as we saw with the scuba diving analogy, a higher salary often just drops you into a higher pressure environment.
Exactly. Making more money rarely solves the core behavioral problem. Instead, ask a much better, more powerful question. How can I keep more of the money I already earn?
Because wealth is not built by earning the most. It is built by making better, psychologically sound decisions with the resources you already have.
It places the locus of control entirely back in your own hands.
It does. And this is arguably the biggest money lesson anyone can ever learn, which honestly raises an important question.
Okay.
Something to just mull over that builds on this idea of choices. If the ultimate value of wealth is having total control over your time,
Because time is our most precious, non-renewable asset.
exactly. If that's the ultimate value, are you currently trading your time just to buy things that make you look rich to people you don't even know?
Ouch. That is a tough mirror to look into.
It is. What if the ultimate flex in today's really loud, status-obsessed world isn't pulling up in a luxury car, but having an entirely empty calendar?
An empty calendar, the quiet luxury of waking up and deciding exactly how you want to spend your day.
That's the real dream.
Listener, if you found value in extracting these kinds of life-changing lessons, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We take the most insightful concepts out there and break them down so you can navigate the world better. The next deep dive could completely change how you view everything. Until then, remember, the most important wealth is the kind you can't see.